Honda's updation cycle for 2020 is unguessable. Some of them are just changes happening to the engine, and others are a complete transformation. And a bike that gets that complete transformation thing is the Hornet, which is now called the Hornet 2.0. And this name, which is the Hornet 2.0, does suit well because look at this new Hornet. It's a totally different approach. The bike literally got updated in every aspect. So it's like the design is changed, specs got a drastic improvement which did lead to a different ride quality and comfort experience, and also the mileage and price did change as well. And actually majority of it got the change in a very good manner. And firstly with the design, this time the Hornet is a more beefed up version. It's like the bike got a more macho style look, and that's very evident right from the front. The front tire is a wide one measuring 110mm and it's coupled to a 17-inch alloy which looks clean, and it's a tubeless tire, and above that you get the new golden upside down fork suspension which not only does look striking but in functionality it's the best in the segment. And then on checking the headlight, I feel Honda has done a lot of justice here. It's a very fierce looking Street Fighter matched LED headlight whose looks are actually escalated by the new sharp looking indicators which are also LED. All in all, this headlight section is a head turner. And not only does it look great, but it also functions like a champ. This is one of the best headlights in this segment. During night rides, the road visibility is excellent, and hence I can easily rate this light as one of the top ones. The range is spread in the right manner with the proper intensity. So from the front, both looks and functionality is done with precision. Then moving the other way around and checking the handle, it's a straight type one which is not a surprise, and same is the case with the switch controls. It's all the expected controls which are the pass light, dim bright toggle, indicator control and horn on the right side, and on the left side there is the engine kill switch, a start switch which is a very handy one, and also you get the self start switch. Now there is one thing to note here, which is the only starting method available in this new Hornet is the self start. But to be frank, it's not a big thing because you'll not be facing any issues with the starting if you're a regular user. Then one thing which got a major update is the instrument cluster. It's a new liquid crystal meter if you're searching for Honda's term for this meter, but to me it's a fully digital meter which has excellent readability. I did check the readability in both day and night, and I could easily read the info shown without any issues. It's like a bluish backlight, and here the info showcased is all the needed stuff, and there is a 5-level illumination control for this meter. And also by the way, these switches which are used to interact with the meter is very clicky and feels of great quality, and same is the case with the switches available in the handle. Then the next thing that's going to strike anyone is the aggressive tank. The original Hornet had a very massive tank, and here this new Hornet 2.0 gets a tweaked version of it. There is aerodynamic vent and sharp cutting along with forward leading shrouds, and also the graphics is not very loud, but still it's a very matching one. And by the way, a neat addition in this tank is the middle plastic portion, which will be handy if you want to place a backpack. And here in this tank, there is another thing, which is the key slot. It's something that's usually equipped in higher capacity bikes, and it's good that Honda did this. And about the fuel tank capacity, well, it's 12 liters. Then checking the rear section, here things are more interesting and also familiar. The tire size is very massive, measuring 140mm, and this one is also a tubeless tire, and about that there is the mud guard which is a solid one, and then you get the iconic X-shaped tail light seen in the original Hornet. This tail light is also LED, and I do like its design because this along with the sleek indicators does give a bit more appeal than the whole Hornet. And here one more thing that's matching with the design is the pillion grab bar. It's a split type one, but yet not a very fancy one. It's a comfortable one for the pillion, so it's a good add-on. Then checking the exhaust, it's again almost a familiar one that's seen in the old Hornet. It's a short stubby muffler with a single port. Now some of the last thing to touch in this design side is that the seat used is a split type one, and also you get the undercowl with this new Hornet. And overall, I love this new design. It's sleek and does add a lot of attitude to a bike which was very famous. And here on the design side, I think Honda has done things in the right manner, and same is the case with the fiber parts used. They all feel very solid and sturdy, with the exception coming just from the undercowl. It feels a bit flimsy, but it's not going to be much of a problem because during my testing, even while riding through the worst conditions, the underside was completely safe because of the 167mm clearance. And that's massive for a bike with a 184.40cc engine. Now this is one area that's totally been transformed. I wasn't expecting Honda to increase the engine capacity of the Hornet, but right now after testing, I'm really glad they did it, because this engine is just awesome. It's a 4-stroke air-cooled programmed fuel injection BS6 standard engine, and this one does produce pretty good number for the max power and torque. And actually you can feel that. There is this rush of power right from the first gear. The bike does show its agile nature from the initial gear, but then the power evens out. And that's something Honda has been doing with the old CBR 250R, and that's what I love with Honda engines. Because by tuning it like this, what we get is a bike which is a complete all-rounder. If you want to do the casual relaxing ride, well you can do that without any engine or gear issue, even in the 40 to 60 km/h range at the top gear. But if it's a different scenario and you want to cruise, well then make the gear shift at a high RPM and then just twist the throttle. The bike is going to rush through with all the available power, and in no time you'll be touching the 100 km/h mark. And as expected, the ride was butter smooth without any vibration or engine stress or even any disturbance. And that's all while riding in the speed range from 0 to 110 km/h. Now please do note, because of the restrictions, I couldn't push it any further, so at present I'm not sure what's going to be the top speed of this bike, but I think you can surely hit the 130 km/h mark without any issues, because this bike has such kind of nature. It weighs just 142 kg, and yet the seating posture is the best for city or long rides. And do you remember that I always used to praise the FC for its awesome posture? Well, this Hornet 2.0 actually has somewhat similar one, and this handle is very nimble and precise, so even while cruising, that quick flick is easy, and I really do mean it, because this Hornet 2.0 is one of the safest and easiest to ride bikes I have tested in this segment. The condition that I tested the Hornet 2.0 is one of the worst. It was wet and slippery, and even then while riding through curves or while doing a sharp cornering, the bike stayed well planted. I was really surprised by the stability of this bike. Honda has done the mass centralization with utmost care, and I think some serious engineering went through while designing this bike. Now most of the times reviews does state that dual channel ABS is what we need in bikes with higher engine capacity, and when Honda went for the single channel ABS option with this new Hornet 2.0, I was like, okay, let's not push too much while doing a safety test. But when I started to ride and when I was getting to know the bike more, my impressions took a U-turn. The 276mm front disc and the 220mm rear disc along with ABS equipped in the front does its job in an excellent manner. Even in wet riding conditions at a speed range in the 90s, the bike stopped without any issues. There was no signs of skid or rear wheel liftoff, and that's just awesome. And this is another reason that I did say some serious engineering has happened while designing this bike, because there isn't anything to complain regarding the ride quality and performance. Even with one of the most doubtful things that everyone is having right now, which is whether this engine does dissipate much heat because of it being an air-cooled one, well, after testing I can confirm there is no such issue. The engine does stay at the normal engine temperature, and that too even after riding for more than 50 km in a stretch. And you can actually go for very long rides in this new Hornet because the ride comfort is just spot on. Firstly, about the suspension, the USD front and the monoshock rear suspension, they are set in moderate stiffness setting and they are of excellent quality. I mean, do I have to stress how good Honda usually put together their suspensions? Well, it's like that here. Honda has followed its right path, and hence whatever condition you're going to ride, you'll be totally comfortable. There was no back pain or body stress happening, and I enjoyed the ride. Well, about the seat, I'm not going to say it's the best, but still it's really good. The surface area is perfect for the rider as well as for the pillion, and the cushioning is not bad too. And while going for a continuous ride, the max I could test was 50 km in a stretch, and even then the seating was comfortable, and that's the same for the pillion too. And by the way, the pillion won't be facing a lot of difficulty for hopping in. Well, that's because Honda actually didn't design this bike just for riders who want to hit the track, but instead I feel they did keep in mind that this new Hornet should be a true upgrade for the original Hornet, which was an all-purpose bike. And here with the Hornet 2.0, that theme is kept intact in a true second version manner. And one place that was evident is that they kept the gearbox to 5-speed. And if you ask me whether I wish it was a 6-speed one, well, to be frank, not much. Because initially before test riding, I was wondering about that, but then when I hit the road, the engine tuning and the precise ergonomics and also the fact that the total experience I got made me realize that this bike is still filling the old Hornet spot, but in a much more exciting manner. The features offered are everything you need for your daily commute and also for that weekend long trip. To me, it feels like the Hornet 2.0 is not competing against any sporty bikes, and that's a great thing. For that, there are other higher capacity bikes even from Honda, and this one is like a blend of both worlds. And for that to happen, Honda really had to focus on the mileage, and I think they did nail it for a bike with this engine capacity. During our initial testing, the mileage we got is approximately in the range of 45 km per liter. It was a surprise, but then it's a confirmation that Honda did want to make this bike a core attractive one for buyers who are about to get a 160cc bike, and for that they even did keep the pricing in a good range. There is just one model, and its ex-showroom pricing in Kollam, Kerala is 1,31,940 Indian rupees. And like always, if you want to know the on-road pricing in Kollam, Kerala, or you want to do a test ride or even make a booking, you can contact the main authorized dealer in Kollam, Kerala, which is Vahini Honda. They do have all Honda scooters and bikes available, and this video was made possible because of them providing us with a review unit. But still, like all our videos, this is not a paid or a sponsored video. We never do such contents, and we never give anyone a preview of the video. All that I mentioned here is my personal feedback after thoroughly testing the bike. And coming to the verdict, well, the Hornet 2.0 is like a pro version of the old Hornet. It's much more pricey than the previous version, but then every single thing has been updated, and that too in a very great way. And this is what I would love to call a term as a true upgrade. I feel if you're looking for a powerful bike which should be good for daily use as well as for touring, this new Hornet 2.0 is a very good option. It has an engine that can function both as a cool and calm one and also as a very aggressive one. There is enough power if you want to use it, and also there is enough refinement and perfect tuning if you want to do a very relaxing commute. The weight is very manageable, and even the seat height was spot on for me. I feel for riders in the height range from 5 feet 5 inches to 6 feet 2 inches, this bike should be very comfortable. The riding post is the stress-free Street Fighter type, which has very good handle response, and that all combined with the chunky tires, best suspension, and excellent braking combo does offer the best safety in the segment. If you want to point out some omissions, well, there are some, like there is no slipper clutch or a 6-speed gearbox, but that I feel is not very necessary if you're looking for an all-purpose bike. And since the Hornet even has better mileage than most of the bike with this much power and torque, well, that completes everything. So all of this together makes the Hornet 2.0 one of the best offerings from Honda in 2020. And from my side, what I feel is that if you're a person who wants a powerful bike, but then you also want that bike to be your only two-wheeler companion, and you also didn't like the fact that higher power means lower mileage and a heavier bike, well then this Hornet 2.0 is the sweetest deal. It's a bike that's targeting riders who wants to buy a bike in the 160 to 200cc segment, and here I feel with the Hornet 2.0, Honda has actually offered us one such great option. That's all for this video guys, hope you enjoyed it. If so, a like is much appreciated and a sub would be great. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye and always ride safe.